For decades, this was the face of tourism. A quick visit, a few photos, and a temporary boost to the local economy. But what if the very idea of a traveler is changing right under our noses? A new wave of people is here, not for a weekend, but for months at a time. They're not just visiting, in a way, they're moving in. And while some are calling this the salvation of tourism, others are sounding the alarm on a global crisis that's pushing local communities to their breaking point. Is this the future of travel, or is it the end of tourism as we know it? 1. The Great Relocation. The world of work has been completely torn up and rewritten. The 9-to-5 office job, once the foundation of professional life, has been replaced by a new culture of freedom and flexibility. This isn't just a fleeting trend, it's a fundamental shift, thrown into overdrive by a global pandemic that made remote work normal for millions. From this massive transformation, a new kind of traveler has emerged, the digital nomad. As of 2025, there are now more than 50 million digital nomads scattered across the globe, a population that has exploded in just a few years. And these aren't your typical tourists. They are often highly educated and work in the skilled fields like tech, marketing, and design. The average nomad is in their mid to late 30s, wielding enough economic power that as a group, they contribute an estimated $787 billion to the world economy each year. Unlike a tourist who stays for a week, a digital nomad puts down temporary roots, sticking around for months or even years. They swap hotel rooms for apartments, tourist traps for local cafes, and quick glances for deep, immersive experiences. For destinations beaten down by the boom and bust cycle of seasonal tourism, this model looks like a dream come true. It promises a steady, year-round flow of cash injected directly into the economy through rent, groceries, and day-to-day living. It's a powerful vision of economic stability and growth. But as this dream plays out in cities worldwide, a far more complicated and controversial picture is starting to take shape. 2. The lure of a new economy. For many destinations, the arrival of digital nomads feels like a massive economic opportunity. Traditional tourism is notoriously seasonal, creating a frantic high season followed by a painfully quiet off-season that can crush local businesses. Digital nomads flip that script. Their long-term stays provide a consistent, year-round stream of revenue. That money doesn't just go to hotels and tour guides. It spreads out to landlords, grocery stores, gyms, co-working spaces, and neighborhood cafes. This economic boost is also helping to spread the wealth. Instead of packing into already overwhelmed hotspots, nomads are often drawn to smaller cities and up-and-coming destinations, sharing the economic benefits more evenly. To get in on the action, countries are racing to roll out the welcome mat. As of 2025, more than 70 nations have launched digital nomad visas, from European hubs like Italy and Spain to rising stars like South Korea. These visas are often part of a bigger plan to juice local economies and upgrade national infrastructure. The push to attract remote workers brings real improvements that benefit everyone. Governments and private companies pour money into better internet, modern amenities, and slick co-working facilities. This creates a cycle where better infrastructure supports local entrepreneurs and makes the destination even more attractive. In places like Bali and Lisbon, this has sparked a boom in local businesses, with residents opening everything from tech repair shops to wellness centers tailored to this new long-stay crowd. The promise is clear: a stronger, more diverse, and more sustainable tourism economy. But this promise has a dark side, and in many cities, that dream is slowly becoming a nightmare for the people who actually call them home. 3. The crisis on the ground. Underneath all the economic hype, a serious crisis is brewing. The very things that make digital nomads so appealing to governments are putting immense pressure on local communities. The biggest flashpoint? Housing. In digital nomad hotspots from Lisbon to Cape Town to Mexico City, the same story is playing out: a shocking and unsustainable spike in the cost of living. Take Lisbon. The city has become the poster child for the digital nomad movement, but for locals, it's ground zero for a brutal housing crisis. With an influx of remote workers earning foreign salaries, demand for apartments has gone through the roof. Landlords realizing they can charge a fortune for short-term lets on sites like Airbnb have yanked their properties from the long-term market. This has created a massive housing shortage for residents, with rent in some central neighborhoods climbing far beyond what local wages can support. It's gentrification on a global scale, pushing people who have lived in their communities for generations to the outer edges of their own cities. It's the same story in Cape Town. The city is grappling with the effects of more than 25,000 short-term rental listings, many catering to a growing nomad population. The demand has sent Airbnb listings soaring, with a 190% increase since 2022. This has sparked widespread anger and petitions calling for a tourist tax to soften the blow on the local housing market. In Mexico City, the tension is so thick you can feel it, with protest graffiti like "Gringo Go Home" appearing in trendy areas like Roma and Condesa. While nomads are spending money at local businesses, their presence has been linked to a sharp rise in housing prices, forcing local families out of the very neighborhoods that gave the city its authentic, vibrant culture. It's a painful paradox. The culture that attracts foreigners is being eroded by their very presence. This isn't just an economic crisis, it's a social and cultural one, threatening to hollow out the soul of these cities. This issue is incredibly complex, with strong arguments on every side. We see the economic upside, but we also see the huge challenges facing local communities. So what do you think? Are you a digital nomad, a local in one of these hotspots, or just watching this global shift from afar? Let us know your experience and your perspective in the comments below. And if you're finding this analysis valuable, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future investigations. 4. The search for a fix. Faced with growing public anger and undeniable economic strain, governments are finally starting to act. The responses, however, are a messy patchwork of different strategies, showing just how divided everyone is on this issue. On one hand, the race to attract digital nomads is still on. Countries like Japan, South Korea, and Italy have recently launched new visas, eager to grab a piece of the profitable remote work pie. They see it as a tool for economic revival and a way to spark innovation. On the other hand, cities on the front lines are being forced to play defense. In Mexico City, officials recently announced a plan to regulate rents and stop landlords from raising prices above inflation, a direct response to the public outcry over gentrification. In Lisbon, massive protests have pushed the government to address the housing crisis, though many argue the efforts so far have been toothless. Perhaps the most watched case is Cape Town, where the mayor has proposed reclassifying properties used only for short-term rentals as commercial businesses. This would hit them with much higher tax rates, leveling the playing field with hotels and hopefully encouraging landlords to put their properties back on the long-term market. But even this is controversial. Critics worry that such rules could tarnish the city's image as a top remote work destination and end up hurting the very tourism economy it's trying to support. There are no easy answers. The real challenge is to find a model for sustainable integration, one where nomads and locals can actually talk to each other. This means creating policies that balance the clear economic benefits with the urgent need to protect affordable housing and local culture. It means rethinking tax laws, regulating rental markets, and investing in infrastructure for everyone. Finding that balance is the critical test facing dozens of cities around the world. The rise of the digital nomad isn't a passing fad. It's a fundamental shakeup of how we think about work, travel, and community. It's holding a mirror up to the global economy, showing both its incredible power to connect people and its glaring inequalities. This new wave of travelers isn't inherently good or bad. They are people searching for a different way to live, but their collective choices are having huge unintended consequences. They are reshaping tourism, pushing it toward a model of longer, more integrated stays that can offer stable, year-round income to local businesses. But this shift is coming at a steep price, creating deep social divides and pricing local citizens out of their own hometowns. The solution isn't to shut the door on this change, but to manage it intelligently. It requires a tough, nuanced conversation about who our cities are really for and how we can grow without leaving entire communities behind. It demands creative policies that can capture the economic energy of this movement while fiercely protecting the soul of these destinations. The question is no longer if digital nomads will change the world, but how will all adapt to this new reality? Can we build a future where global mobility and local stability can thrive together? Or is this a crisis with no solution in sight?